All right, so here's my devotional thought on the fruit of the Spirit, goodness. The idea of goodness is a common thought. We attribute a lot of things to being good. We tell our dog, "Who's a good boy?" And we just watched a movie and said it was good. And in fact, "it's all good" is a favorite expression. Sometimes, because of our use of words, the meanings get weakened. And surely there's a difference between God is good and my dog's a good boy. So our use of good can use some help. The same is true for goodness. We think of goodness as the state of being good. Goodness is having moral character, but goodness as a fruit of the Spirit is more than that. The fruit of the Spirit is something that we do not and cannot attain on our own. So goodness and all other fruit of the Spirit is not natural. They are humanly impossible. Whatever goodness we see in the world is a result of God acting. The goodness of God draws people to Him. We are attracted to that goodness that God displays through grace and patience. Goodness is how God treats people. Now, in Galatians 5:22, the word goodness is agathosune. This goodness is used 4 times in the New Testament. There are other words in Greek for goodness. For example, 2 Peter 1:5 says, "For this reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge." Here the word goodness is different from Galatians 5:22, and it means moral excellence or virtue, which can be gained through practice. It says you add to your faith goodness, so it's something you can do. But the goodness in Galatians 5:22 is a fruit of the Spirit and can only be achieved by the Spirit. So this Greek word that is translated goodness in Galatians 5:22 is used only 4 times in the New Testament. So what I want to do is I want to read these passages and see if we can get some insight to this spiritual fruit. Galatians 5:22, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, peace, love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness." Romans 15:14 says, "I myself am convinced, my brothers and sisters, that you yourselves are full of goodness, filled with knowledge, and competent to instruct one another." And this use of goodness, the same word, Galatians 5:22, it is through the Spirit that we can instruct one another. See, goodness isn't always candy-coated. Sometimes the good we need to hear is some hard truth spoken to us by someone who loves us and wants our best. Spiritual goodness tells the truth. We become competent teachers of one another, not because of us, but because of the Spirit. In Galatians 5, verses 8 and 9, it says, "For you were once in darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of the light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth." Here, goodness is contrasted in the difference between living in the darkness and living in the light. Children of light are filled with spiritual goodness that cannot be explained naturally. There's just something different. There's a different goodness in people with the Spirit. 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 11 says, "With this in mind, we constantly pray for you that our God may make you worthy of His calling, and that by His power He may bring fruition to every desire for goodness and your every deed prompted by faith." You see, in this passage, again, you see God's power at work so that you can be good, you can have goodness and do good things. See, when we're Spirit-filled, you desire goodness. There is a burning desire to do good. Yes, we still battle with the flesh to be selfish and lazy, but when we surrender to the Spirit, we enjoy doing good. Isn't that true? May I encourage you to surrender to the Spirit and let him fill you with all goodness. You will be competent in helping teach others and be filled with goodness, and may your goodness grow stronger and deeper. Let's be filled with the Spirit and see God's goodness come alive in us. God bless.